Saints are hoping that number 13 is lucky this time around. In 2015, did not work out so well last time with Cedric Ellis, who was a nominal player and really disappeared pretty quickly from the scene. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. The Saints off-season is upon us. We'll get into the front office here in just a moment, but obviously some other concerns for the Saints. Reports emanating and, of course, details released that Junior Galette was arrested for apparently pushing a woman without getting into specific details. It's a woman that was with him and someone else at his home, and the allegation was there. The arrest was made, out on bond, and obviously not the kind of news you want just a week removed from the season, especially with a guy you've invested quite a bit of money in. And obviously, Amy, you never judge before you know every ounce of details here, and we're certainly not going to do that, which is why we report it the way we report it. That said, certainly you have to be concerned, in particular with the recent stepping up of domestic abuse policies that the NFL has undertaken as a result of the Ray Rice situation.
Yeah, if you look at it, I mean, they have gotten very stringent in terms of what they are going to do regarding any situation with domestic violence, regarding suspensions, eventually leading to lifetime bans. But as we are taping this, we don't know all of the details of what happened with Junior Galette's situation. There is apparently a video that was taken of the situation that, again, as of when we are taping this, that they are trying to put their hands on to be able to take a look at, that further defines exactly what happened. But regardless of the situation, I think because of the Ray Rice situation and what happened in that particular scenario, there is so little wiggle room when it comes to any kind of domestic violence situation. I mean, the NFL has spent an enormous amount of money on the ad campaigns, talking about having to start the conversation, having all these celebrities involved that are really trying to bring to light this. So regardless of what happened, and I do hope that it does turn out to be a misunderstanding, but regardless, it's certainly one of those situations that it's not good, no matter how you look at it. It's just not good.
Right?
Kenny, it's not a good way for Junior Galette to start the off season. You know, you would hope, and I know Ricky's got a better feel for this, but for such an issue as volatile and as public relation oriented as it has been over the last, 5-6 months, and as Amy said, you can't put yourselves in those positions, okay? We don't know the exact circumstances surrounding this incident, but the only thing that I could say is you don't want to put yourself in that situation, okay? And I remember Mike Ditka said the only thing that can happen after midnight is trouble, generally, okay? Mm-hmm. Particularly for high-profile athletes. And in this town, Junior Galette is a high-profile athlete. So we'll see how it plays out. But it doesn't appear well for the very thing you're talking about, Amy, how the league has looked at domestic violence. Any kind of violence, okay, against women is just a no-no, and it should be.
Ricky, you played the game, and since you've played the game, there's even more scrutiny on players. Your whole life's on camera. It's on microphone. There isn't anything you can escape, and I think that should be patently clear to players in the league now. Whether it's fair or not isn't the point. You're going to be scrutinized and watched 24/7. As a result, I'm sure we'll get to the truth at some point, and I know you talk to Junior Galette at times. Just your take on the whole situation and on this young man.
Well, I mean, it's just a young man that, you know, like you look at the quarterback from Cleveland and Manziel, these guys just got to grow up, you know what I mean? You're taking people to your house who you don't know, and that was the first mistake he made right there. Whenever I heard that someone was to his house and it wasn't his girlfriend with the baby, and, you know, it was somebody that he just picked up. And whenever you do that, you're looking for trouble. So, I mean, he'll learn from that.
Well, actually, to clarify at least what they're saying is that she said that she had lived with him as an assistant, housekeeper, maybe some other form of the relationship, we don't know. But it appears not to be a stranger, at least of what the most current updates are. But I think that regardless, it's so, and you're right, Ryan, it's such a hot button issue right now that regardless, you know, and you talk about living your life out, how many times are the high-profile athletes going to have to learn that in the day and age of social media, you don't need to wait for the news to report it or for the news to take hold of it. You know, this is a situation where in Ricky's day, you know, this situation would have been investigated, I think, a little bit more before it probably would have hit the news. This, I mean, within minutes, it was out there in circulating. I don't know how many more examples of this are going to happen before athletes get in their heads that there is nothing they can escape. They just can't.
Brian, there's something to be said about being happily married and not having to worry about any of these issues, which you and I would know about.
Yeah, it is, and we know Junior Galette. He's a good young guy, and you know, he's come into a lot of money, so therefore the focus is going to naturally be on him. I'm not sure, I don't know what happened, but my feeling is that, you know, Junior, your life is, your career outside of football is multi-times more important than what you do on the football field. And the sooner athletes realize that, okay, and come to grips with that, and you know, this could be a great awakening for Junior, okay?
Well, I'll tell you what, too, the Saints don't need that. I mean, with the way they playing football and the record that they had this year, they don't need no more negative stuff. They got enough negative stuff already on the field. So off the field is not what they need. So all the guys over there got to realize that, you know, we ain't played good enough to be able to have no off the field trouble.
In football parlance, I think it would be called piling on. You had a very disappointing season, and now you have something like this that hits you right away when the season ends. Mickey Loomis has called a press conference for Tuesday, media availability, which typically means, you know, they'll open it up for questions, but it's quite possible that they have something to announce. And a lot of speculation, Brian, I'll start with you, about what's going to happen with the New Orleans Saints moving forward. And Ryan Pace has been a target of several other NFL teams, and understandably so. He's the director of player personnel for the Saints. He's been in scouting. He's done an excellent job for this franchise. Everybody respects him and likes him. That's why he's a candidate for the Jets general manager's job and several others. And realistically, if you want to keep him, the way to do it is maybe a raise and maybe a promotion. And these things obviously have been discussed, and maybe that's part of what's to be announced.
Absolutely, and you know, Ryan has been linked to a couple of GM openings with the Bears and the Jets, and I don't think he's gone to either. May have declined the opportunity to speak with the Jets, but Ryan is a good, young, rising GM type guy. And the Saints have actually sent real good candidates out into the NFL. They've sent Omar Khan, Mike Tannenbaum. All these guys were with the front office, and Ryan fits that need. And we know this is that Sean Payton thinks the world of him, and if you can keep a good football guy on your team, do it, and that's what they're trying to do.
Maybe?
Well, you know, you guys actually in this situation have more insight because you deal with the day-to-day of the Saints. But in a situation like this, especially considering what the Saints are not only have gone through, but what they are going to have to go through, you want to keep as many people on the front office side that you know are talented, that you know have directed so much in terms of that success. And, you know, as you guys are talking about, with him being so heavily recruited, it will be very interesting to see how far the Saints step out to make sure that they keep the talent that they need to keep, not just go get replacements where the holes are.
And Ricky, if this does in fact happen where Pace gets promoted, that might help where Mickey Loomis is concerned to lessen his load and allow him to focus a little bit more on the Pelicans. The guy's been trying to run two organizations.
Well, I mean, Ken, they put a big load on him. I mean, sometimes you can overload a guy. Ain't no way a guy, you know football and basketball to the highest expertise like they trying to put on Mickey. But I tell you, you get guys over there, and they keep bringing guys over there, but it don't mean that they football guys like you think. I mean, they bring guys in and they try to promote guys, but from the product what they've been having, Ken, this year, they don't have the great players over there. So somebody ain't been doing the great job over there. So whatever it takes for them to start doing a better job and bringing better players in, that's what they need to do. So if it takes bringing Pace up and letting Mickey oversee everything or whatever, if they need to do that, that's better. But the city looking for a great football team and great players, and they didn't do that this year.
All I would say is, to add to your comments, is that if that happens, it's not only a likely scenario, but probably a good scenario, and enables everybody to stay intact with keeping a young talent in-house rather than letting him escape. Sports NOLA TV is brought to you by Premier Honda of New Orleans and the Premier Automotive Group. Premier Honda is located at 11801 I-10 Service Road in New Orleans East. New vehicles, pre-owned vehicles, Honda finance specials. Own or lease your own 2015 Honda today, or visit PremierHonda.com and Premier Honda of New Orleans for all of your Honda needs. Back to talk NFL, playoffs, and more as Sports NOLA TV continues in a moment.